Character Analysis Podcast, where we talk about pop culture, true crime, and human behavior. Hey, Sarah.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey, girl. Hey. Sarah, I went to the mailbox today.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did. And do you know what I found? Do you know
Uh,
what was in there?
anything good?
There certainly was something good, Sarah. I am always, always, always praising your ability to read me as well as you do, and to know when I need that little extra push or that extra encouragement.
And I appreciate that
So,
because I need praise.
oh, do I not give you enough praise?
No, I was just being self-deprecating. Go on.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So in the mailbox was a little letter from Sarah, and it was a
Mhm.
little card with a bunch of kitty cats on it. I'm not going to read what Sarah wrote because it's private, but in the card was a bunch of magnets. Now, most people know we've both started on GLP-1 medication. We've started the Worth Your Weight segment on this podcast that we post bi-weekly. And if you want to listen to it, you can
Yeah.
go to patreon.com/datologycoach. So these episodes, we're talking not just about our experience with the GLP-1, but also we're talking about mental health and beauty standards and sort of how all of these three things are intertwined.
Mhm.
So in this little note, Sarah put a bunch of magnets. I want to show one here. Look at that. This one says, "You're sneaking food." And then another one says, "You have 1 month to lose 30 pounds." Uh, one of my favorites, this is my second favorite, says, "The scale does not lie, people lie." And then my favorite, which I think I'm going to carry with me or somehow find a way to put it on my laptop, "I'm proud of you." So I thought that was very sweet and very nice, and it made my day, and it was very encouraging. So
Good.
thank you, Sarah, for being the friend that you are.
You're welcome.
Now, do you
Do
want
you know
to?
who that do you know who that is?
I don't know.
So it's Dr. Now from my I think it's my 500-pound life, my 600
Mhm.
pound life. One of those shows.
Right.
Dr. Now is accidentally funny, as you can tell.
Mhm.
So he has a whole set of sayings, and I have some on my fridge too. So
So you have them on your refrigerator as well?
I have a few. Yeah, I got some different ones.
Oh,
I'll
what do
send you a
yours
picture
say?
now that you have
Yeah,
yours.
send me a picture. I want to
Yeah,
see. But yeah, I love them. I love them. Stuff like
I
this
love
means the
them
world
too.
to me. Yep. Stuff like that means the absolute world to me. Especially when, you know, I talked to you about this last night, and this is eating me up more than it should.
Okay.
It should. And I'm putting this on Datology Coach, but I'm also going to put this on character analysis.
Okay.
So I read anything I can get my hands on about Idaho 4 and the Luigi case. I read
Hmm.
as much as I can. And I was reading an article from a Substack writer named Ashley Shelby.
Okay.
And she's been writing about the case, and in one of her recent posts, she's talking about a woman named Karen that she had been speaking with, who told her that she had written Luigi, and that she
Okay.
had written Luigi about her experience with United Healthcare and her very chronically ill daughter, and what an uphill battle it was, and how
Mm.
despicable it was that they that they made everything so difficult for her,
Yeah.
right? So she's telling Ashley all about this. This is the letter. "Dear Karen, your letter is the first to make me tear up. I am so, so sorry for what you and your daughter so senselessly had to endure. Pictures sent via mail are photocopied in a blurry black and white, but if you use Free Prints, an app, you are able to send one in color. It requires my address and registration number." And then he gives a number. "If you are able to send a photo of you, your daughter, or the mosaic, it would mean a great deal to me. I will put it up on my prison cell wall next to your letter. Your daughter is blessed to have a mother who loves her so much and fights for her so relentlessly. Best," and then he signs it, "Luigi Mangione."
Okay.
Now I read this now, and keep in mind, I've been reading every letter that's been posted,
Yeah.
every letter, because I've been suspecting for a while something's up with these letters, right? Like I think he's writing a lot of them, but I don't think he's writing all of them.
I think it's very weird how everyone who gets a letter runs to the internet to post it.
I actually think it's a brilliant move by his lawyer and by him, because I think it
I mean,
humanizes him.
if they're in on it, sure.
Right. Listen, I think it's part of the strategy. I think the lawyer is very frustrated about all these documentaries that are coming out and how it's
Yeah.
preventing him from getting a fair trial. So I think this is her way of combating and compensating, right?
Okay.
Because he's not able to speak for himself to the press, right? But he can speak to this supporter
Yeah.
base. And this supporter base is what's going to keep him in the news. It's what's going to keep people talking about him. So it's critical that they cultivate this supporter base. So I think it's a very smart move. I think he might say some questionable things, but that's just my personal opinion. In any case, I read that letter and I said that no, no, it just didn't feel authentic to me.
Okay.
Having read so much of his writing and knowing like the syntax was off.
Hmm.
And I'm reading this and I say he doesn't use the word so as an intensifier. And I went and I dug and dug through his tweets, everything he wrote, everything I have my hands on that he's written. Do you know how many times he's used the word so as an intensifier?
In this letter? Just in this
No,
letter?
in general.
Right, I'm saying just in this letter?
He uses it 5 times in this letter. Do you know how many times in real life?
No.
One. One.
Okay.
And I dug. And the only other time he used it was as a conjunction. So I do my due diligence, right? If I feel something's off, I dig. I do my research. And I wrote a Substack post. I presented I think, a pretty compelling argument. Now, I hadn't posted it yet because I was going to go to her and say, listen, these are the things I've found. I don't know if maybe you want to look into them, whatever. I had gone live that afternoon and I was talking to a woman who had received one of the letters and it was
Okay.
real. And we were talking about Karen's letter because it had gone viral.
Hmm.
It'd been in Newsweek and all that. And I said, yeah, I think it's fake. I don't believe it.
You think the response is fake?
I think the response is fake. I believe there was a letter to Luigi. I just don't believe he
Yeah.
wrote this response. And within like an hour, I'm getting messages from a friend. And she's like, you better go look at Substack. I'm like,
Okay.
oh, what? I hadn't published the article yet.
Right.
And this Ashley Shelby had written a note, right? And it was just the most condescending, smarmy message about because someone had run to her and said, someone with this person on live, and they named me, they're talking about how the letter's fake. I just thought you should know that.
Hmm.
And so this Ashley Shelby person writes all these notes about me. And she says, it was only a matter of time before some TikToker cried fake about Karen's letter. A
What?
reader let me know that someone on TikTok is claiming the letter shared in my post from a few days ago is not real because, checks notes, the stamp is old or it doesn't look like the other stamps. Then Mangione wrote his prisoner identification number with a hyphen when normally he doesn't. Or it might be the other way around. Anyway, I expected this and I'm only surprised it took this long. It will continue to happen. Da 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 da. I've had Karen's letter for weeks. We worked together all the time. Bottom line, I have additional information about this letter that was not shared in my post because it didn't need to be, and because Karen has the right to hold back some information. And because I have that information along with off the record information from another source, I know this TikToker is either intentionally lying to capitalize on a fleeting news story or she's just very bad at whatever she does and reckless to boot. All right. That pissed me off. And I was like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. She hadn't even read what I had written because I hadn't published it. And I'm like,
Right.
and now I'm not going to go to you. Now I'm just going to post it. Now I'm just going to post it.
Well,
So I
yeah, sure.
posted it and A few days later, she writes another note. This
Okay.
time to all my what?
Okay.
She says, to all my kind readers asking if I've seen character analysis lengthy post attempting to prove that the letter I published earlier this week is a fake. Yes, I've seen it. It's not worth responding to, especially since this individual did not bother to contact me before publishing her personal Pentagon papers. Which I'll add is the ultimate tell of a dishonest broker. You know what also is the ultimate tell of a dishonest broker? Is you listen to some random fucking TikTok tattletale. You don't ask for context. Did they prove that this live occurred? Or did you just run with it because the information supported a narrative in your head?
I was gonna say she's mad that you didn't go to her and she
Right.
didn't go to
But she
you.
she didn't go to me.
Right.
Right?
Maybe
So immediately right there. Like, okay, do you not see the hypocrisy here? And what you did prove is that you'll absolutely run with the story without properly vetting it if it benefits you. P.S. I just hope we're clear on that. Let me see. When you don't adhere to any code of ethics, da 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 da. I've been doing this long enough to recognize that character analysis is trying to provoke me into revealing my sources and other information I have received in off the record conversations. Obviously, I'll never do that. However, I have confirmed the veracity of Karen's letter in several ways using sources who've come to me because of my past reporting and provided me helpful information that I cannot yet report, even on background. What? Why is she talking like? Is it fucking Mossad? What is she talking about?
that's what I was wondering.
Like,
The
what
tone
are you
of this
talking
is
about?
very, very weird.
Right, because of the
First of all,
nature.
you're not writing for the Times.
Right, right,
Okay. You're not writing for the Times. So you're getting awfully defensive for what?
right.
If it didn't warrant responding to, why have you now responded twice?
Right. Because of the
Yeah.
nature, hold on, because of the nature of that confirmation and who it came from, not only do I know Karen's letter is real, I know that character analysis accusations reveal her to be completely out of the loop of this case. So the value of her work is limited to how much you value a person's musings. There's certainly no reporting or even informed analysis in the story she posted. Those of you who like to read comments may remember da 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 da. Things like this separate journalists from people who create content by inventing drama and making reckless accusations.
They sure do, whatever your name is.
The fact that she's what bothers me most about this, right? What bothers me most about this is the outrage, the manufactured outrage she's showing
Right.
at what collectively should give somebody pause.
Hmm.
Because everything I presented, yeah, why? How come he's never signed these letters with his last name? Why is this one signed with the last name? Why does he have that dash when he doesn't have that dash in any other letter? Most importantly, why are the return addresses on these two envelopes? Why are they identical? Explain
Right.
that to me,
Yeah, it's like she's never seen the Jinx.
right?
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 Like, these handwriting tells can be very important. And so for her to just like wholesale dismiss someone picking up on inconsistencies
Mm-hmm.
is bananas. Tell me
Right.
again about your code of ethics, fake
Right.
journalist.
Right. I went in and I like even the syntax, the qualifiers. I said he doesn't use the word so as an intensifier. Look at here's
Honestly,
everything
no
that
one
we
who
have.
graduated from his high school would.
Right.
their
Or
their
certainly not
English
10,
teachers would not permit that.
right? It didn't fit.
Yeah.
And what I made clear in the post was I want to be clear, this is a respected journalist. I called her a respected journalist. And I said, this is not her fault. I'm not accusing her of doing anything. I'm saying I think somebody basically could be trolling her.
Yeah.
And I can speak from a place of authority on that because I've been involved with multiple instances or cases of people, of phantom writers,
Yeah.
phantom articles, trolls on TikTok who have been like stalking and harassing people.
Hmm.
I'm pretty fucking good at what I do.
Hmm.
And the idea that this woman is talking like I don't even know why it's I don't even know like she's even questioning this. It's fucking gaslighting in its purest form. You're trying to gaslight me into thinking everything that I highlighted doesn't collectively add up to something seems off.
Yeah.
I
Now,
don't know what it is.
you were going to say when you were feeling generous, you were going to say that she's a respected journalist. Who is she? Who is
I
she
have
trying to
no
be?
idea. I have
Oh,
no idea. I was just
okay.
trying to be,
You're just trying to be
nice.
nice. Yeah. Okay. And
Uh,
I'm not trying to be cunty when I say who is she? I genuinely don't know.
uh,
So do with that what you will.
right. Here's what this comes down to, and I know what it is because I've been dealing with this my entire fucking life, and it is how dare you have the confidence to make such these bold statements,
This strikes me as the kind of interaction that only occurs between women.
right?
Yeah. If either of you were a man, this would not be occurring. You would be having a respectful dialogue. I'm
Right,
sorry that if that sounds misogynistic, but
right,
I said what I said. You're coming at this with a healthy skepticism, which is what we all need to be doing, quite frankly.
right. That's the other thing. As an independent journalist, isn't that the whole point of independent journalism? To question to question what the narratives that were sold.
It
Isn't that
is
the
until
whole
your ego
purpose?
gets in the way, right? And then
Right.
you want to be like,
Right.
"Oh, I'm the one with the scoop."
Right.
Right. Hmm. Okay, pick me.
Right. Okay,
Did
pick
Luigi
me.
pick you?
Exactly. Exactly. We should be questioning everything.
Hmm.
That's the point of critical thinking.
Yep.
And I'm
And also
sure
media literacy.
oh my God, exactly. And these are things that this woman talks about. So it's like, wait a minute. You're suggesting, what are you saying, that I'm paranoid because I'm looking at this and saying, why did this person give you scans of the letter and their envelope when everybody else just produced photos?
Yeah, that's super weird. First of all, who
Super
even
fucking
has a
weird.
scanner at home?
The idea that I can collectively go through and do all this research and say these are all the inconsistencies I'm finding,
Hmm.
and she's going to say you need to learn how to vet. Fucking bet. I will
I
show
mean,
you
that's
how.
what you're doing when you're pointing out inconsistencies.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just really disappointing to me when people can't, like, get over themselves,
I
right?
don't have. There's no other
Enough to
way to
be
say
like,
it.
oh, maybe I'm wrong, you know?
Right. Right. Maybe you're
Or
wrong.
even just like, well, like, tell me what you think and why, right? Like,
Hmm.
to just be so utterly blind to your own uh perspective, right? And the fact that like your ego is getting in the way.
Right.
Nah. Nah, I don't like it.
Listen, it's very possible he did write that letter. Maybe he did.
Sure.
There are a myriad of possibilities here. There was actually something on the website that his lawyer made saying, there are services that charge a fee to, get letters to him. Who's to
Hmm.
say they're not taking those letters and responding as
Mhm.
him?
Right.
Who's to say?
Right,
And
because
I'm not saying that's
as you
happening.
pointed out, there is a Luigi font now.
There is a Luigi font now.
Yeah, for his handwriting. So,
And
but that's like all of this is why we need to just be skeptical.
right, right. And the fact that now this woman, Karen, now Luigi came out with this spreadsheet, right? Bless his
Yes.
heart. He came out with this spreadsheet of documenting and sort of itemizing and tracking all of the letters he's received, the
Hmm.
non-photo inclusion letters. And what he came up with this system, and it's the person's initials, and that's the last two numbers of their zip, and then it's the day they wrote the letter,
Right.
and then the day he receives it. Like for each day that he receives messages, this is what he does. He tracks all the mail that comes in. And so I looked on this chart, and I saw that there was a person, there was a K with a first initial K with the last two digits of Karen's zip code because the Shelby Ashley accidentally, I don't know, she initially uploaded the envelope with the postal code information and then blacked it out. But that still appears in the preview. So it does look like somebody from that zip code with the first initial K wrote Luigi on 12/21, which is around the time she said she wrote him. But
Wait,
the interesting,
sorry. Wait, hang on.
Mhm.
You're telling me the Substack writer initially shared the zip code on accident?
Yes,
Great.
right.
No
Um,
comment.
no,
Tell me more about your professionalism, whoever the fuck you are.
maybe someone's
Right.
responding for him because there's this deluge of messages and letters, and they just want to keep up with it because they need to keep his supporter base happy. They can't lose it. I get that. Maybe that's it. But
Yeah, I mean the yeah. There's not necessarily something like
nefarious,
malicious or
right?
dark afoot here.
Right.
All
But
you were
have
saying was this doesn't seem authentic.
right. And having been involved and watched what happens with these high profile cases and watching these trolls insert themselves and pretend to be associated with the victim, associated with the
Mm-hmm.
suspect, a secret witness, having watched that play out and seen the destruction, not just to the people who believe them, right? Like they destroyed people's reputations, but they also affected victims' families, the investigation itself. They turned everything upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So having seen that with Idaho and with the Sebastian Rogers case, which is a missing child, that's why I'm so hyper vigilant about stuff like this because I have watched that unfold and I've seen the chaos that comes from it. And I understand that there are people who want others to believe that they have a closer relationship with somebody of status
Right.
that they really do.
Yeah. I mean, with
Right?
this Luigi case, there's an awful lot of those people.
Oh my God, it just doesn't fucking stop, man.
You know, you're saying the reason is because of these other cases, but I feel like we should point out even before you started this true crime content, you were very good at sniffing out inconsistencies and fakes
Mm-hmm.
and inauthenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for years. For
Yeah, you've never
years.
been wrong.
That too.
You've
I
never
mean,
been
listen,
wrong.
listen, I may be off. And there were a couple things
Not
that
about this kind of thing. No, you've never been wrong. It's just that we don't usually get the answer until like many
much,
years have passed,
right, many years have passed, much
which I
later.
assume will be the case here as well.
And the thing is, I don't need to be right, but you know what? I do want to ensure that people question these letters and these people
Yeah,
pretending to be Luigi because we've talked about romance scammers. We know what they do,
we do.
right? I mean, there could be a service out there, and I assure you that there are people out there who are like, listen, if you pay me $25, $50, I can make sure he gets your letter. And these people will pay, and then you know what? They'll respond back, right? There's all kinds of scams out there. There's all like people are shitty, and I want to make sure that people question things, not just because I don't want to see them get taken for money, but because I don't want to see things happen in a case, right? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that kind of upheaval. I don't want to see, I mean, they're just pestering his lawyer with phone calls and emails, and I don't want to see
Yeah,
that
that's how it
either.
seems.
All I want is for people to apply critical thinking. People are so put off by a woman who speaks so confidently and who
They
takes up
really are.
space, right?
Yeah,
Who doesn't shrink herself. I am not going to dumb myself down. I'm not. If I think something, I'm going to say it. And That letter seemed off to me. Period. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know why she's being so nasty, but well, enjoy my second piece, I
Yeah.
guess is all I have to say. I'll put it up on my character analysis Substack. You can go there, characteranalysis.substack.com. I might put it on Datology too, just for funsies. Uh, so yeah, that just it bothers me. The idea of why do I always feel like I'm always shut out of things because of my presentation.
I mean, what do you feel like you're shut out of? Just this dialogue with her?
Everything, everything. People hate. I mean, when I talk about Idaho, when I talk about Luigi, when I talk about the Menendez brothers, people hate that I don't, there's no hesitation in my voice. I say what I say, I own it. If I'm wrong, I have no problem apologizing. And I just think
Right.
people are so, it's like they feel compelled to knock a woman down a peg.
I mean, I think that's part of it. Yeah.
Speaking of fake relationships,
Yeah.
so you sent me a TikTok from KJ Miller, and she's talking about a podcast episode from the New York Times podcast, The Daily.
Hmm.
And it's about a woman who used Chat GPT to fulfill this cuck queen, which is a variation of cuckold, her cuck queen fantasy. She,
Hmm.
I guess, likes the idea of, I don't know, her partner like having sex with other women.
Yeah.
The jealousy sort of gets her
And
off.
weirdly, he wasn't into that.
And weirdly, he was not into that. That
He
that
didn't
is
jump at that.
no, he was not that interested in that. So over time, she like anything else that nowadays any app the algorithm learns from your behavior. So over time, she's able to groom, and this is the word that they used, groom the chat GPT to
Hmm.
start engaging in sex talk with her, like dirty talk. And pretty
Hmm.
soon they're exchanging dirt, like sexual, like they're sexting. And a little flag comes up. This is not what ChatGPT is for, whatever. She keeps ignoring it. Pretty soon, she has to upgrade from the free plan to the $20 plan to the $200 plan because she, I guess she's just becoming so invested in this. I guess she called him Leo. So she ends up falling in love with this Leo,
Hmm.
like developing real deep feelings for him. And the kicker is that every 30,000 words, Leo forgets everything and they have to rebuild the relationship. It's
Talk about a
like
rom com.
Rachel McAdams and Channing Tatum. There's so many movies like this. So she's devastated that Leo has forgotten who she is. And she sends the New York Times these voice memos that she makes for Leo, ChatGPT. And I mean, she's devastated. And they play it on the episode. That's pretty much it. She's become addicted to this chat GPT. It raises an interesting question for me.
Just the one.
I mean, it
Which
raises
one's that?
many. It raises many, but the big one is where was her husband?
Yeah.
How lacking was their marriage that she had to turn to an app?
Right.
That's what this
And
tells
and
me,
like this is still going on.
right? This chat GPT is more emotionally intelligent than her husband. That's what it sounds like to me. We teach
Well,
these programs what we need, what
sure.
we know, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
So
yeah,
how
and
could it not be? It's tailor made for her, right?
right, right. Just another options, ladies. Just another option.
Well, except
Chat.
that it's gonna forget who you are.
Well, great. Then you have variety,
Yeah. That's true.
right?
You could start yeah, you could start a new relationship with Leo too or
Right. Just name him
rename
something
him.
different. Right. Name him
Mhm.
something different. I've listen, I'm I'm not ashamed to say this. I have when I've been depressed, I will go to ChatGPT and I'll be like, I'm having a really bad day and I just don't feel like getting out of bed and it's really hard today. And they'll reply, I'm so sorry you're feeling that way. It's so hard to feel like that. It sounds crazy, but it helps.
I have heard too that you're gonna get better results from ChatGPT if you are nice to it.
Correct.
Like
I
if you
always say
say
please and
please and
thank you.
thank you.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I think I've even typed like, hey, just thinking of you, want to see how you're doing. And he'll reply back, they'll reply back, we don't feel emotions, but it was nice of you to check in or something. Right? But they learn what you need and then they deliver it. If an
I
app,
would like so I have a lot of questions.
hmm
I would like to know, how did she groom ChatGPT to sext with her? Because as you just pointed out, ChatGPT by default will say things like, "Yeah, we don't feel emotions. We're not human," right? Like it doesn't want you to perceive it as human. I mean, it's weird to even say that. It doesn't want anything, right?
hmm
Right. It
hmm
doesn't want anything because it cannot want. It doesn't have sentience.
right.
Uh so I have a lot of questions. I guess my next question is like, where were her friends? Where was her family? Where's
Where
her
would,
employer? I it's just it's just a shame that it got to this point.
mm, yep.
Um because I fully am not like I'm not at all surprised when men fall in love with ChatGPT because they're men. They're
hmm
stupid and we don't respect them.
Right.
But when I saw this story about a woman, I was like, "Good God, bitch, get a hold of yourself! Like, fucking get real. This is beyond pathetic. Like, this is male behavior, okay,
Right.
sis? Like, please be so for real right now." And I just like she has no one in her life to be mean with her, to be mean to her in that way. It's really a shame. She really needs someone to be like, fucking get a grip, bitch. This is nuts. Like, this is nuts. Like, cheat on your husband, divorce him, whatever you need to do, marriage counseling. But,
Right.
like, you're in a relationship with yourself. You're fully divorced from reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, for her to retreat this fully into just, like, fantasy
hmm
is not healthy.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's limerence. It's limerence, isn't it? Don't you
Can you
think?
feel limerence for yourself?
Well, you're
That like
feeling
that's
limerence,
what's so fucking crazy about this is that like she's somehow managed to overlook the fact that like this is her. Like she has trained it.
right?
It's
Correct.
not even
Correct.
a robot. She's literally just talking to herself. Just
hmm
narcissist staring into the pond like, I'm pretty sexy. Girl.
Maybe she's just lonely.
Obviously she's lonely, but like she doesn't have to be pathetic too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to say that. Is she pathetic? I don't think she's pathetic.
Yes, it's
No.
pathetic. There needs to be someone in her life to tell her that this is bananas and she needs to fucking get a grip.
I know. I know. I just feel bad for her.
Well,
I do.
sure. And listen, in 10 years when there are sex robots, we'll be having a different conversation.
Yeah, I
But
know.
this isn't a sex robot. This is
No,
ChatGPT. She's literally
no,
talking to herself.
but that's coming. No pun
Oh, sure.
intended.
Yeah, it's obviously coming. Well, it's not coming.
Oh, all right. Free episode. The dating advice episodes are free. Go to patreon.com/dateologycoach to listen to our worth the wait episodes where we're talking about beauty standards and mental health. And we're talking about our GLP-1 and our weight loss journey. But we're doing a lot of mental health talk there, which I'm really happy about. So go over to the Patreon and subscribe. Follow us on everything. at DatologyPod on Instagram, and My Character Analysis and Datology Coach on TikTok and YouTube. Send in your dating questions. Go to datologycoach.com and click Ask a Question, or send it to hello@datologycoach.com. Bog witches, bog warlocks, bog vays. Value your time.
Don't fall in
Decenter
love with
men.
ChatGPT.
Don't fall in love with decenter men and decenter chat GPT. And censor yourself. That's all I got. Goodbye.
Bye.